Welcome to Baltimore County Public Schools 2021 MESA Awards Program. I'm Eric Cromwell, Coordinator of Elementary Science. And with me is Donald Dunphy, who helps facilitate our MESA program. If you're not familiar with MESA, it stands for Math, Engineering, Science, and Achievement. The program originated in 1970 at Oakland Technical High School in California and has grown exponentially over the last 50 years. Baltimore County's program was started 25 years ago and has had several graduates who have gone on to pursue degrees in math, engineering, and science. You will hear from one of these graduates later in the show.
Today's award program will celebrate the accomplishments of over 300 students, comprising 37 teams in 11 schools from all areas of the county. There are 5 challenges teams could take on this year, which we will highlight later. However, there was a 6th challenge that all teams had to solve. How do teams work collaboratively to solve real-world problems in a virtual environment? We acknowledge all the teams for overcoming this challenge. To open our program, I would like to introduce Dwight Carr and Jason Cartwright, who manage Maryland's MESA program.
Hello, my name is Dwight Carr, and I am the APL STEM Program Manager, and I also serve as the Maryland MESA Executive Director. That's just a really fancy way of saying I manage STEM stuff for the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory, and that the Maryland MESA program is the biggest of the programs that I manage. So I want to welcome you all this year. This has been a challenging year to participate in MESA. It has, it's a program designed to be done in person, hands-on, after school, where you collaborate with your friends under the direction of your coach and your teachers. And because of COVID, it's made doing that and having the program operating in that format very difficult. So I just want to recognize that this has been a very challenging year. And for those of you who made it to this point, if you've submitted a project, whether you win or not, I mean, you guys are amazing because you've done something under some really difficult circumstances. And I really applaud you for doing that. We ask you to do some really challenging things with MESA, and to do that in a way that we didn't really design in the beginning is something that's to be celebrated, and you all should really pat yourselves on the back and applaud yourself for doing being bold enough to attempt this. This not only goes for the students, but that goes for teachers as well. The main thing I wanted to impress upon you are 2 things. One is that you are part of a larger organization, and the second is that you have access to more than what you see through MESA. The part of being a part of a larger organization is that MESA, the Maryland MESA program, is part of a program called MESA USA, which includes 8 other MESA states, 9 in total. Altogether, we serve over 50,000 students a year, over 11,000 teachers. That's amazing. So if you think about, all the work you've been doing in your rooms, in your living rooms, wherever it is you did MESA this year, think about that times 25,000, because that's what was happening across the country this year. So one of the things so I want you to know that you're part of this really large community of people that were doing the same thing. Now we offer a few more challenges than other MESA states. So, those of you who are working on NEDC, we're working on the same thing, but there's also something we do throughout MESA, which is common, called the MESA model. And we also make sure we provide programming through our mission, which is to increase the number of underrepresented student groups in STEM. So, all of you are working on common goals, common problems to serve, humanity ultimately. So, when you think about what the model is, it includes things like doing MESA to help you perform better in school. Hopefully some of the things you did this year helped you get a better understanding of maybe some of the science courses that you're working on, if you had some programming, and also with your math. In addition to that, working on the challenges also helps build confidence. We give you projects that real engineers, computer scientists, and physical scientists work on. Now, it's not exactly the same magnitude or scale, but it has all the basic components that we as real engineers use to solve problems. So know that we're giving you something that's really authentic, that's real life, and we give you things that where you can actually make a difference in your community. Now, not only are you a part of this national organization, you're part of the Johns Hopkins family as well. APL in particular has 2 other programs that we offer, and 1 big event. Those two other programs are the STEM Academy and the Aspire program. So Maryland MESA is an introduction to STEM. And then STEM Academy allows you to take a deeper dive where you can go and you can take classes in circuit design, critical thinking, design thinking, as well as Python programming. We have a full list of courses that you can take. In addition to that, if you decide, hey, I want to put these skill sets to practice, you can apply for our internship at APL through the Aspire program, which is available to 11th and 12th grade students. Our big event is something called Girl Power. Girls are significantly underrepresented in STEM majors, and also women are underrepresented in STEM careers. So that is our effort to try and make sure more girls are aware of STEM careers, STEM opportunities, and to try and encourage more girls to participate earlier on. So I'll begin to conclude here as, I want to make sure you know that everything that we're doing, from your bedrooms all the way to the national organization that we do from APL is really designed to help prepare you for school, college, and careers. We want you to see yourselves as the future computer scientists, engineers, and physical scientists. And you should begin to see yourself as that person right now. It's not something that's in the future that you could become. Because you've participated in the program this year and you submitted a project, you are now what I consider junior engineers, junior computer scientists. So please begin to know that you are empowered to change your community through STEM now. So I'll wrap up by saying, again, congratulations for getting here. If you all have been tracking the story of Perseverance, the NASA mission to Mars, I'll just use that to highlight something that you guys have done. That is a very challenging mission to get a rocket into space, but then to get an SUV-sized rover from our planet to another planet is extremely challenging. Now, while what you've done isn't at the same magnitude, it is very difficult. It made me think of all the obstacles and challenges that you all had this year to participate in MESA. Man, that was the first thing that came to my mind, was that, wow, that Perseverance mission was hard, but participating in MESA this year was also very difficult. So again, I want to thank you guys for being brave and persevering yourselves through all the challenges that we faced as a community this year to participate in MESA. Lastly, I'll just say please be the change you want to see in the world. And that simply means that if you see something in the world that you want to fix, you don't need to wait for someone else to do it. You need to wait at all. You can be that change. You can create that change. And I hope you create that change through STEM. So I want to say thank you and have a great day.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jason Cartwright, and I'm one of the STEM program specialists at the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory. And I have the privilege of serving as the Deputy Director of the Maryland MESA program. What that means is I have one of the coolest jobs in the world. I get to work with engineers, computer scientists, physicists, roboticists, healthcare professionals, decision makers in your school system, teachers, and most importantly, students. Thinking back 1 year ago today when we were forced to cancel the 2020 MESA competitions, I couldn't begin to imagine what the past year would be like. Wow, what a year it's been. Quite a year for MESA, quite a year for your school, quite a year for the world. We faced challenges in our society that no one could really have imagined. The way we do everything has changed. The way we shop, the way we eat, the way we do school, the way we connect to each other, the way we do MESA has changed. Everything has changed. But this year, the MESA community looked at that challenge the world was facing and moved forward. We moved forward, continuing to build something. We moved forward, finding solutions, because simply that's what we do. That's what you do. We look at the hard challenges and we develop solutions for them. So thinking about your MESA experience this year, if you built a storybook theme park ride, or if you worked on a device to monitor respiration in infants, or if you looked at ways to address issues of inequity in our society, or build a mobile app to keep people healthy. You chose to attack a very hard problem, and you did it. And even if your solution wasn't quite as complete as you would have liked, or your presentation wasn't quite as polished as you'd have liked, or you had a bug in your program, or a short in one of your wires, the simple fact of the matter is you did it. And you did it by working together, by collaborating, and by struggling together in a new way, pushing through the difficulties of working together when you're not actually physically together. And I'll tell you that you've come up with some pretty great solutions. Now, earlier I mentioned that I get to work with lots of cool different types of STEM professionals. And every time one of them volunteers to help with the MESA program and see the project you've worked on, they're absolutely blown away. They're blown away by the types of problems you're working on and on the hard work you've put into developing innovative solutions. And often I hear my colleagues say, I wasn't doing anything like that when I was a kid. The MESA kids are doing so much more than I was ever doing at that age. And these words come from astrophysicists, electrical engineers, software engineers, computer scientists, chemists, biologists, and a ton of other STEM professionals. So teachers, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, siblings, thank you for supporting your students through the MESA experience this year. It hasn't been easy. And students, thank you. Thank you for doing it. You have done, you are doing, and will continue to do great things. You'll continue to find new ways to find new solutions to new problems. And frankly, that gives me hope that the next time we're faced with an unprecedented challenge, you'll figure it out for us. And related to that, I'd like to offer you a thought, a challenge really. That challenge comes from Dr. Ralph Simmel, the director of the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Lab. Dr. Simmel often ends the meetings with the APL staff with a challenge. And the challenge he gives to the staff, I'm going to pass on to you, to all the teachers, all the students, and the family in the audience today. And that challenge is, be bold, do great things, and make the world a better place. You're already doing it, so please keep doing it.
As I mentioned earlier, Baltimore County's MESA program has had many graduates go on to pursue careers inspired by their participation in the MESA program. Today, we are honored to have one of those graduates as our keynote speaker, Dr. Sono Khan.
We want to thank Dr. Khan for taking the time out of his busy schedule to be our keynote speaker. Dr. Khan is a role model for us all. His accomplishments start in 2003 when he was selected as MESA Student of the Year at Chadwick Elementary. He earned the Ben Carson Scholarship and the President's Scholarship to UMBC while in high school. Dr. Khan went on to graduate from UMBC with honors in biological science and was inducted into the Phi Beta Kappa Honor Society. He earned his medical degree from the University of Maryland School of Medicine and then was inducted into Alpha Omega Alpha, the Medical Honor Society. Upon completion of residency at University of Maryland Medical Center, he was chosen as chief resident. His most important accomplishment was the birth of his son, Zaiden, 2 years ago. Welcome, Dr. Khan.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Baltimore County MESA Awards program. My name is Sono Khan, and I am a graduate of the MESA program from Chadwick Elementary School back in 2003, which I know must seem like 100 years ago. After I finished up school, I went to UMBC for undergrad, where I got my degree in biological sciences. And after finishing that up, I went on to the University of Maryland Medical School to become a doctor. It was a lot of school, but it really did fly by. After I became a doctor, I'm currently training right now to become a specialist for cardiology, which is a heart doctor. And I was so honored to be able to speak to you all when I was asked to do so by Mr. Cromwell and Mr. Chris, even if it is virtually. First of all, I want to congratulate all of the MESA students and the families for everything that you guys have been able to accomplish, especially during such a uniquely challenging year. Secondly, I can't go on with this address without expressing my deepest appreciation to all of the educators, administrators, and staff. Through your time, personal resources, and dedication, you have all managed to maintain the educational environment during an unprecedented time. Even when I was in school, I remember how tough it was to be able to find time to meet together as a group, develop plans for a project, and then be able to put it all together in time for the annual competition. You have all managed to do that, even while meeting virtually. This is a huge, huge achievement, so please be proud of yourselves. Students, you are all nearing the end of your journey in elementary school, whether you're a 4th grader or a 5th grader. Even though it's been almost 18 years since I was a MESA student and an elementary school student, I still remember it like it was yesterday. All of the Pokemon shows, all of the Yu-Gi-Oh, all the Transformers, stuff that's probably all old to you guys. Even more so than that, I still vividly remember all those afternoons on Thursday where we would be in the MESA program and we learned how to make ice cream in a bag by learning that the salt lowers the freezing point of water, or played with silly putty, which was originally discovered apparently by scientists during World War II when they were trying to figure out how to make synthetic rubber. Each of those years, I would be so excited participating in a theme park ride and figuring out which book we would use. One day we started to use the Charlotte's Web book. The other year we decided to use the Titanic, and they were so much fun to build. Going to the competitions at the end of the year, which I know has been a little bit different for you guys, was a huge highlight as well, and meeting all of these different groups from other schools. But I'm sure as the pandemic here resolves in the next upcoming months, that hopefully the MESA program will be able to get back to that. Just to share a little bit of a personal story with you guys, when my family moved here back in 2000 from Pakistan, we didn't have much. My parents had brought with them 2 kids, 2 suitcases, and pretty much their entire life savings, which considering the whole cost of moving to a new country wasn't much. Within a year, we decided to add another member to our family, which was my youngest brother. And the 5 of us were living in a small 1-bedroom apartment over at the Town and Country Apartments, which you guys might know about, which are across from Security Mall. Don't get me wrong, we were very happy and our parents gave us everything that we could have possibly asked for. Being a part of the MESA program, though, was enough to give us opportunities to become involved with things that we would not have been able to afford otherwise. We had the chance to visit the Baltimore Museum of Industry. We got to go to Martin State Airport. We got to go to the IMAX downtown, and even visit the National Air and Space Museum, amongst many, many other opportunities. Being able to enjoy these experiences with my parents and my siblings as they were serving as chaperones really gave me a chance to see all of the different things that I could accomplish during my career. So often, when we're growing up, going through elementary school, if we don't get the opportunity to see all the things that we can be, we never strive to achieve those things. MESA changed all of that for me, my friends, and my classmates. We were shown our potential from a very, very early standpoint. Even if you don't realize it quite yet, your part of being in the MESA program has already set you up for success moving forward. Your MESA instructors have taught you all about the scientific method, which goes as follows: question, research, hypothesis, experiments, data, analysis, and conclusions. Believe it or not, this will serve you well regardless of the field you eventually decide to pursue in your careers. Problem solving always starts with asking a question and being curious about something. Your curiosity then leads you to do some research to learn more about that topic, whether it's Googling it, looking it up in a book. Afterwards, when you find out a little bit more about the topic, you decide to start developing your own ideas and decide that you want to investigate them. This is where the hypothesis and research and experimentation component comes in. Finally, you collect your thoughts and decide whether it worked out or not. This is the conclusion and the analysis. Either way, you learned something, even if it did not quite go the way that you wanted. Thomas Edison was once asked how it felt to fail to invent the light bulb 1,000 times. And Thomas Edison replied that he did not fail. The light bulb was just an invention that took 1,000 steps to be able to accomplish. Don't ever be afraid or disheartened by failure. That is the only way that we learn and move forward. If you still don't believe me, what is this guy talking about? What does he know? Let's just think about the vaccine development for the COVID pandemic. From December 2019 up until the late part of 2020, which was over a year, you had the brightest scientists in the world with an almost endless supply of money. And they were trying to come up with a vaccine against this virus. They failed over and over and over and over, and you could probably repeat that about 1,000 more times. But each time they learned that some component of the formula did not quite work out right. Through their efforts, they kept revamping the vaccine, and as a result, we were able to come up with a vaccine. Actually, 3. That is the type of success that the MESA program is setting you up for. By simply introducing you all at such an early point in your career to the scientific method and all of these fields, math, engineering, and science, you all can accomplish the same level of impact. Thanks to my early experiences with the MESA program, I knew that I wanted to be involved with the sciences when I got to college. But I also knew that I did not want to be stuck in a lab all day, and I wanted to work with people. Most of my family, though, is in education and law enforcement. So when I came across this conundrum, did not have somebody that I could directly look to answer that, maybe that's the same situation you're in. However, at UMBC, I found mentors that were able to guide me, and I started shadowing doctors. And shortly thereafter, I really found out that doctors were able to combine the best of both worlds. They were able to go ahead and follow the scientific process, and they used that on a day-to-day basis in order to treat people. Once I discovered that I wanted to be a doctor, the mentors that I had at UMBC were able to hook me up with all kinds of research and things that I would need to do in order to get to medical school and pursue that dream. I got to work in a lab that was studying mice and basically creating mice that had high blood pressure. And through our work, we were trying to figure out different ways that we could reduce blood pressure in these mice to help treat the blood pressure in humans. If that wasn't cool enough, I got paid about $4,000 for the summer to help work on that project. And if that wasn't cool enough, they actually paid for me to fly to Boston for a conference to present my research, and all expenses were paid for, including the flight, hotel, and food. Pretty awesome, right? And again, being involved with MESA will set you up for opportunities like that and even more as you go on into middle school, eventually high school, and then on to college. I truly would not be where I am if I did not have that early setup for success through the MESA program. These days, most of my time is spent in the hospital taking care of very sick patients who have a variety of diseases going on, such as heart attacks, heart failure, kidney diseases, strokes, and even COVID. Each day, we apply the same scientific method that we've been applying in MESA. We ask hard questions about what's making these people sick. And then we come up with hypotheses to figure out what's most likely to least likely on that list. Afterwards, we basically go through ordering diagnostic tests, procedures, or imaging to test our hypothesis and figure out what's going on. Once we get our results from the experiment or diagnostic tests, we're able to apply those to actually treating our patients, whether it's through blood thinners, antibiotics, or whatever medications they might need. I now even get to use something called ultrasound, which is able to take a look at people's hearts, their lungs, their kidneys, and so much more. And this is a technology that's getting better and better by the year. After lots of training, I can now do procedures such as putting in big catheters in people's bodies if they need dialysis, or even big IVs if they need transfusions of blood or antibiotics or fluids. There are really no easy days, but I can tell you there's not a lot of better jobs out there. I mean, who else gets to walk out of work saying, I saved a life today? Or I got to make someone feel better and got them home? Again, let me tell you, learning never stops in this profession though. I still have to read up every single day to make sure that I'm treating my patients with the most evidence-based medicine and treatment methods that are out there. We have to keep taking tests to make sure that we're showing that we're competent. So if you're afraid to take tests, got to change that. And we always teach each other, whether it's through peers, whether it's through other students, whether it's through our colleagues, or even professors. There is really no stop to the learning in medicine. If medicine doesn't quite fit your life, or it's not really what you're passionate about, don't worry about it. There are so many more STEM careers out there that you wouldn't even believe are real jobs and that you get paid to do. If you enjoy playing video games, you can decide to study software or computer engineering and then get a job developing video games. If you're a fan of spy movies or being super high tech, there's entire jobs where your entire day is consisting of designing security programs to stop hackers from getting secret information. You're almost like a high-tech superhero. And if you enjoy building or designing things, there are fields like architecture where you have the ability to be in charge of building bridges, malls, apartment complexes, and anything else you can think of. There's even research being done about time travel, alien life, and finding ways to teleport. And listen, if you think those things are funny, just remember that until electricity and planes were invented, people thought that those things were ridiculous too. And there's really no shortage of options to all of the world that's open to you all. These are exciting times. Before you know it, you'll be going off to middle school and eventually high school, and each of these are filled with new chapters in your life, filled with new hallways, new teachers, and even more friends. Before you take that next huge step in your life though, stop for a moment. Look back at all the different friends you've made as part of MESA. Thank all the teachers and all the educators who've taken time away from their own life and their own families to be able to support you. And right now, take a moment and look at your parents, your grandparents, and all the family that's surrounding you who's helped you get to this point. The future is bright for all of you. So bright, in fact, that we have no idea what's coming ahead. Push yourself, but never, ever lose your sense of curiosity. No matter what you choose to be, just know that your MESA family will always be there behind you to support you. And know that you are fully equipped to handle everything and anything that comes your way. Thank you so much for listening. Congratulations on this huge milestone and enjoy the summer ahead. Take care, guys.
Thank you again, Dr. Khan, for your inspirational journey. We would now like to recognize this year's participating schools and the coaches who made it all possible.
Please give a big round of applause, high fives, and hugs to all the hardworking students and their coaches. The moment we have all been waiting for is now here. I want to compliment all of the BCPS coaches and all of the MESA teams for the hard work that they have put into these MESA challenges.
We will start with our elementary awards. Our first award is for the Elementary Storybook Theme Park. The object of this challenge is to expose students to the engineering process through the design and construction of a functioning model theme park ride. The ride is based on a storybook of the team's choosing. The ride must be designed to safely carry 4 passengers, which consist of marbles, ping pong balls, and a golf ball, through 2 consecutive test runs. For this year's elementary theme park ride, honorable mention goes to Hebville Elementary, and our winner is Chadwick Elementary.
Our next award is the Elementary Wearable Technology Challenge. In this challenge, the teams will design, build, and demonstrate a wearable device to monitor respiration rate in infants. Students use a very realistic doll as a test subject. In other words, the device will show how many breaths a baby takes in 1 minute. This is a very real-world problem in areas of the world where medical care for infants is inadequate or non-existent. This year's winner for wearable technology is Chadwick Elementary.
Now for the Expanding Structure Challenge. Students were challenged to design and build a structure that could fit into a small space and then expand into a larger space. A problem very emblematic of those faced by NASA when launching satellites and space stations. The main goal is to build the most efficient structure possible. The final design should be as light as possible and support as much weight as possible. The structure will be made of components that fit entirely inside of a transport container of a specific size. The structure will have the capability to be deployed, assembled, and span a greater distance than transport container in under 4 minutes. Finally, they must demonstrate the strength of the deployed structure. There was an additional challenge this year where teams also had to develop their own methods of testing the structure at home using whatever materials they could find. This year's Expanding Structure Challenge winner is, honorable mention goes to Hebville, and our winner is Chadwick Elementary.
Lastly, elementary students participated in a Scratch programming exhibition. For this non-competitive challenge, the students designed their own games which involve problem-solving skills and being exposed to higher-level mathematics and computational work, which will foster a deeper understanding of the programming process. The theme of these games had to center on teaching the public about a health problem of their choosing. Participating schools were Hebbville, Chadwick, Randallstown, and Timber Grove Elementary. Each participating student will be recognized for their efforts.
Moving to the next level, for middle school, we start with the Wearable Technology Challenge. This is the same challenge elementary students completed, with the additional challenge of programming computer circuits to calculate respiration rates at a much higher level of accuracy. This year's middle school wearable technology winner is Deer Park Middle Magnet School.
Next are the awards for the Expanding Structure Challenge. At the middle school level, the structure students build has to hold weight across a wider span than elementary students. For this year's Middle School Expanding Structures Challenge, we have 2 honorable mentions going to Catonsville Middle and Deer Park Middle Magnet Schools. Our winner for this year is Windsor Mill Middle School.
The middle school also participated in a Scratch programming exhibition. As with the elementary division, all the participating schools are being recognized. These schools are Catonsville, Deer Park, and Windsor Mill Middle Schools.
The last challenge at the middle school level is the National Engineering Design Competition. This challenge requires student teams to identify an individual or group who experiences some type of disability using a microprocessor as the key component of the design. Teams will employ human-centered design practices to engineer a solution to assist the individual or group overcome their challenge. For the Middle School National Engineering Design Competition, second place honors go to Windsor Mill Middle School. And our first place winner is Deer Park Middle Magnet School. Moving on to high school, all of these challenges are identical to the challenges at the middle school level, starting with the Wearable Technology Challenge. This year's winner is Eastern Technical High School.
This year's Expanding Structure Challenge is the most competitive with 5 high school teams competing. Honorable mentions go to Milford Mill and Eastern Technical High Schools. Third place goes to Sparrows Point High School. Second place goes to George Washington Carver Center for Arts and Technology. Lastly, our first place winner is Randallstown High School.
High school students also competed in the Mobile Application Challenge. For this challenge, students overcame many technical obstacles to design, develop, and demonstrate a proof of concept model app created for the purpose of helping people. In this year's challenge, teams will prototype and demonstrate a mobile app that can improve people's lives by addressing a health issue in our society. The app will collect, process, and display data in a way that can benefit users and/or healthcare professionals. For this challenge, our third place winner is Randallstown High School. Second place goes to George Washington Carver Center for Arts and Technology. And our first place winner is Eastern Technical High School.
Our last awards category is for High School National Engineering Design Challenge. This award goes to Eastern Technical High School.
Congratulations to all the students who participated this year. Please take a moment to give your coaches your appreciation for going above and beyond this year to support your efforts in the most unusual of times.
For our first place teams, their work is not quite over. They will now be moving on to represent Baltimore County at a virtual state competition in May. From there, we hope to have Baltimore County teams represent Maryland at the national competition. Thank you all for participating in this year's MESA program. We hope to see you all next year face to face.